Hello everyone! Thank you for joining us for a new Burda style video. Today, we will be presenting the model 410 from our Burda Curvy magazine, which is only available in digital format and can be found on our website or as downloadable PDF patterns. All information about our curvy models can be found in the description of this video. Together, we will make this wrap dress that is easy to wear for any occasion. The flounce on one side highlights the neckline and makes this piece elegant and comfortable. This dress is a timeless basic and relatively easy to make, which will delight both beginner and expert sewers alike. As for the fabric, we chose a printed viscose from Mondial Tissu. In addition to your usual sewing supplies, you will need interfacing, a snap button, and bias tape. I have already cut pieces 21 to 31 as well as piece A according to the cutting layout. I have also transferred all the necessary notches and added interfacing to the pieces indicated in the magazine. It does not appear in the tutorial, but you will also need to neaten all the necessary edges as indicated in the instructions of your magazine. The pieces will always be stitched with the right sides of the fabric facing each other. And don't forget to backstitch the ends of the seams unless otherwise indicated. It's also a good idea to mark the different lines of the pattern with basting thread or a pencil. Now I start with the darts at the back and the pleats and darts at the front. I stitch the back and front darts. I press the back darts toward the middle and the front ones toward the bottom. I stitch the front folds right sides together, press them in the direction of the arrow, and baste or pin the pleats. The second step, the ties and front flounce. I fold the ties in half, right sides together, and stitch the long edges and one of the short sides. I trim the allowances, clip the corner, turn the ties outside in and press. I then pin the open edges of the ties to the side edge of the front left part of the bodice and the front edge of the front right part of the bodice according to the notches. I now press the flounce allowance to the wrong side and finish this off with a zigzag stitch. Now I cut the allowance as close to the stitching as I can and pin the back of the flounce onto the right side of the front part of the bodice. You can baste here if you'd like. I then stitch the back and front shoulders starting from notch 3, holding on to the flounce as I do so. Now, the third step, the facings. I stitch the shoulders of the facings 27, 28, and 29, following notch 2, press the seams open, and then pin it along the front edges and neckline of the bodice. I hold onto the flounces and the tie as I gather the allowances. Then I finish the stitching and leave the allowances go past the right facing of the bottom edge. I clip the allowances in the corners and then press them toward the facing. Now I top stitch along the seam and fold it toward the inside of the bodice as I press. I also press the skirt facing to the wrong side. I place the skirt facing and the front edge facing on top of each other and sew them together with a few stitches by hand. Then I stitch the facing to the shoulders. Now, the fourth step, the bodice and skirt. I pin the front left part of the bodice to the left part of the skirt up until the notch, stitch starting from notch 4, and press the seam as well as the unstitched allowance toward the skirt. I then fold and press the right side edge of the left part of the skirt. I then pin the back of the skirt to the back of the bodice, gather the allowances starting from notch 5, and press the seam toward the bottom. The fifth step, the side seams and hem. I place one side edge of the dress over the other edge, pin them together, and stitch starting from notch 6. As I do so, I hold onto the ties of the left side, then I press the seams open. I press the hem allowance toward the back, unfold the facing that was previously pressed, and sew the hem by hand all the way up to the invisible stitch. I fold the facing inwards again and sew its bottom edge to the hem. Now the sixth step, the sleeves and flounce. I press the flounce's hem allowance toward the wrong side, pin the flounce to the bottom of the sleeve, gather the allowances, and press them toward the sleeve. I fold the sleeve and the flounce in half, making sure the seams match up, and pin them by unfolding the previously pressed hem. Then I stitch. Now I press the seam. I fold the hem again to the wrong side, finish it with a zigzag stitch, and trim the allowance by cutting close to the stitch. I pin the sleeve to the armhole, making sure the dress seam and the sleeve seam match up. That notches 8 match up, and that the sleeve head and the shoulder seam match up. I gather the allowances by holding onto the sleeve, then I press the seam toward the sleeve. And the final step, the snap button. I sew the upper part of the snap button onto the left front part of the skirt according to the instructions, and the bottom part of the button onto the allowances of the right side of the bodice at the waist. And that's it! The dress is finished. Now you're ready for spring! Don't forget to share your creations with us and other sewers on our social networks. And subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any news. I'll see you very soon for a new model. Thank you for following us, and see you soon for a new Burda tutorial.